My name's Kim McNamara and I am the manager of the West Cork Model Railway Village. I started working here in Valentine's Day 1998. The Model Village opened to the public in 1994 and we opened with one small town of Clonakilty, and we continued to build a new town every couple of years thereafter up to about 2002. Clonakilty was built first, and that was started, the Model Village was formed in 1991 as a company, and the idea was started in about the late 80s to create a tourist attraction that employed people locally and told local history. And we got the concept of the idea from that. So a lot of talking to and fro and visiting and checking how other businesses worked and how other tourist attractions, what they did to provide a sort of place of interest for people to visit. And so the Model Village blossomed out of a lot of ideas, and the formation was of the West Cork towns as they were in the 1940s, and the trains were still running back then. The West Cork Railway was still running, so they wanted to link the two in, and it was also before rural electrification. So it was kind of harking back to old times. It was like pre-anything. Everything had been the same for hundreds of years, and then this century, obviously the last 100 years, things have changed an awful lot.
My name is Cathal DC, 21 years old, and I'm a railway historian and enthusiast.
Stuff like steam engines have been going out of style, they've been scrapped, there's very little preserved. So, and in general, I think model railway, from what I'm seeing, it's not on a downslope, but it definitely is not as big as it was, say, when their steam engines about. Would you agree with that statement that stuff like model railways and railways in general are on the decline?
I wouldn't agree with the sentiment that model railways as a hobby is dying. On the continent, people are paying 600 to 800 quid on locomotives. Here in Ireland, we're only paying 250 to 300 on locomotives. And those prices keep going up if demand goes down. But as long as people keep paying the high premiums, they will stay up. Now, you can say it's a dying hobby, but I think it's more accurate to say it had a peak. It's going to stay around for a long time more, because you still have Thomas the Tank Engine that inspires an awful lot of young people, and they have the little train sets. And then, that's how I got into it. I had little Thomas train sets, and then I went on to Hornby and so on and so forth. And I think of every enthusiast that I know, they all have trains. Irish Railway Models, which is the latest railway modelling company that does specifically Irish trains, like the ones that ran in West Cork, they're doing quite well as well. So even though it might look like that it's fallen off, I suppose it hasn't. It's just become less cool. Nobody's flexing their model train kit like they were in the 1980s. The amount of people that have something small or something massive up in their loft is unbelievable. And I run a model train swap meet in Ballincollig, and it's incredibly popular. We made our money last year, which was a huge success, and people still do really enjoy it. And I don't think that it's on, well, I think it's definitely down from the 1980s, when we'll say the nostalgia for steam engines was still there.
The foundations were built, I think in 1992 we started. It took about 2 years to build the model here, because this was the whole town dump. This is all the refuse used to come. So that closed in 88, and the local council donated the town area, because it was just rubble and rubbish, to us to develop. So it took a couple of years to get funding in place and the whole idea to start rolling. And then they broke ground in 1992, and they officially finished when we opened in 1994. We officially opened in July 94. Now, the scale of the model towns are 1 to 24, which is a sliding scale. When you do a map, you have different scales. So the models towns are in a scale of 1 to 24. And then our model trains are on a G scale, garden scale railway gauge. Yes. The trains we have at the moment, they're brought in from different companies. So the different companies in Germany and the UK make the trains, and we buy them off shelf, as it were, or from a website, and we get parts given to us as well. The motors inside there are what operate. They pick up current from the track. We have a computer system which runs the current when to start and stop, so they start and stop at the stations. But at the moment we're revamping the whole thing. So now, instead of having the track electrified and the computer telling the track to start and stop, we have a self-propelling engine with the carriages, and there's motors inside in the engines and motors inside the carriages, and they move the wheels, and the wheels roll along the track then. So there's no current on the track in Clonakilty. But the other trains, they're operating on the old system. So the model buildings, again, from the scale drawings that we have, the dimensions are taken from our scale drawings. We have that digitalised, and we have them in original print. So my model makers would get, say, a plan, big old, huge metre, couple of metres wide. They would take their measurements, say, from the west wall, the east wall, the north and south walls, from the roof, the dimensions of the roof. So it's a 3D plan that they build the models from. They use fiberglass and resin to make those models, and then they start building things up. So they layer it up. It could be 10 layers to make a wall. Then they texturize the walls, so maybe it might be brick, it might be made of stone, it might be smooth plaster. They have the finish there. Then all the windows and doors and drain pipes and everything are added in afterwards. So from nothing, everything is built up in 3D.
Wow.
Into a 3D building, and it can take a long time to do a building.
I'm going off that. How long will it take?
The buildings, how long they take to make, say something would be a small little country house, and they're a standard 2 up, 2 down with a little front door. So they may take about 4 or 5 weeks to make. We have Charles Fort, which is a replica of the fort in Kinsale, and that took 6 months to make. Clonakilty Church, an awful lot of detail, ornate windows, little statues, little archways. That took 4 months to make. One of the first models we really had to concentrate on, and to replace it now, it'll take us 6 months, 8 months to do and make the extra bits that we have to do. So each building is individual. It can take 6 weeks, it can take 6 months.
Perfect. And what's your favourite part about working here?
My favourite part? Every day is different.
Every day is different.
That's my favourite part, because I come in the door, I get a phone call from someone who says they want to do a TV show about us, or I might get a tour. Like this morning, I got a phone call from a group of students who come every year to learn English. So there's a new group come every couple of months. They're coming in for a tour tomorrow afternoon. I'm getting information from different school groups. They want to come in, or there's people walking in. It's been a bank holiday weekend, so people come down and visit us, and they go on the train ride, and they walk around the model village, and they have a little go on the diggers, and they have a cup of coffee. So, you know, every day, for me, every day is different. That's why I'm still here. It's not the same every day at all. Yeah.
I'll ask for you as well. How much do you save in the pond?
The pond, probably between, say, 300 to 1,000, depends on the coins. So sometimes when we take it out, it's all 1, 2 and 5 cents, and sometimes there'd be the odd 20 cent, 50 cent, 1 and 2 euros. So we'll collect the money from the pond maybe once a year. That has to be done now this year, it hasn't been done yet. So we have to drain the pond, push everything, clean everything, and then the money has to be cleaned, because it's obviously quite slimy. It has to be brought to the bank in big bags, and the banks write it off because a lot of the coins get corroded when they're in there. So they're damaged coins, they call it damaged coins, and then we put it into the kitty. It might pay for the water bill, it might pay for the fish food, it might go towards, you know, school, something renovation-wise here. You know? So we put it into the kitty, because everything we earn, we put back into the kitty to help run the business.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, and thanks for coming to see us.